Java distinguishes between characters and strings. A character is a primitive data type, and it consists of just a single character. A string is a complex object and can consist of many characters. I'll show you how to declare and initialize characters here, and I'll add code to the main method to declare a single variable with a data type of char, C-H-A-R, a name of C1, and a value of 1 wrapped in single quotes. Literals for characters are always wrapped in single quotes, while literals for strings are wrapped in double quotes. I'll duplicate that line of code a couple of times, and then I'll change the names of the variables to C2 and C3, and I'll change their equivalent values. Then I'll output these values. I'll use systemout, and I'll start with a label of char1, and I'll append C1. I'll duplicate that a couple of times and change the labels and values. And I get the values as expected. You can also declare a character using a literal that's a Unicode escape sequence. That looks like this. I'll declare another variable, data typed as char, and I'll name it $, and I'll give it a value wrapped in single quotes of \U0024. That's the Unicode number for the $sign character. Then I'll once again use systemout. I'll duplicate this line of code and move it down. I'll give it a label of currency, and I'll output $. And the output shows the actual $. Once you have characters, you can turn them into strings quite easily, but I'll get to that later in the course. For now, I just want to show you how to manipulate characters using the helper class for the char data type. I'll declare a character named A1 with the value of A. Then I'll duplicate that a couple of times and change the variables to A2 and A3 and the values to B and C. Now I'll use systemout, and this time I'll take off the ln, so I'm only printing but not adding a line feed. Then I'll pass into that a method of the character class. The name of the method is toUpperCase. If you look at the documentation for the character class, you'll find that it has a lot of useful methods. I'll choose this version of the method that receives a char argument, and I'll pass in A1. Then I'll duplicate that line a couple of times, and I'll change A1 to A2 and A3. But for the last one, I'll change the method I'm calling back to print ln. So I'm outputting the line feed only on the third call to system.out. Now when I run the code, I once again see my original output, but I see ABC in all uppercase and all on the same line. So again, a character is a primitive value, not a complex object. If you set it as a primitive, it won't have any methods of its own, but you can use the character class's methods to manipulate and otherwise manage it.